everyone. Today I want to talk about money. Y'all want to talk about money with me? I love talking about money. I think that we don't talk about money nearly enough. And so that is the topic of today's call. We're going to dig into this because I think a lot of the time it's kind of like either we complain about money, like that's socially acceptable. But if we want to talk about actually like making good use of our money or finding money or actually having enough money, like it feels weird, right? And it feels like, oh, I'm not supposed to talk about that with other people. And so I think we should totally break that taboo and we should talk about it because I have some ideas for you, right? And so let's go. And if you are on here with me live, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are here so I can say hi. So good to have you all here. We're going to talk about money today. And I want to make sure before we get into that, I'm going to tell you I have all kinds of information for you, but I want to make sure before we get into that you know about the workshop that we have coming up next week, right? It is called the Lost and Found Money Workshop. Isn't that a fun name? Like, don't you want to find money? So here's my idea. Well, I'm not going to get into that quite yet. We have a workshop coming up. It's called the Lost and Found Money Workshop. If you are a member, if you are one of our OMH members, you already get access to this workshop. So you do not need to go register. None of that. That's totally free for you. You're just going to use our regular Zoom link. If you're not a member, you're going to want to pay attention because this could be such a valuable investment. Okay. In fact, my goal with this workshop is to have this workshop pay for itself for you within 7 days. All right. Like literally you're going to get my intention is if you come to this workshop, you do the work, take you an hour, a couple hours, that you will have recouped your investment in the workshop within 7 days. And we'll get into how that works, but you're not going to want to miss it because it could be a game changer, especially if, you'd like to have some more money in your life. Like who wouldn't, right? Like I know I would. And I have used these techniques literally for probably about 15 years to just have more money in my life, right? And that was even before I had a business. Okay. So there is a link below this video where you can go ahead and sign up for the workshop and get all the details. All right. And again, it is a paid workshop. However, my goal is that you can recoup this within 7 days, right? So how could you say no? Like literally, we have a refund policy. If it doesn't work for you, you just let us know. We'll give you your money back. And what you learn within that workshop will pay for itself over and over and over and over and over again. So I really think this is such a no-brainer. At least that's what we've tried to make it out to be. Okay, so I hear we have people on. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Linda. Hi, Persephone, Valerie. So good to have you guys here. Okay, so I was talking with some friends yesterday, some very sweet friends, and we were talking about money. They know that I am the decluttering club and the decluttering school, and I helped them organize their garage at one point, and they were like, oh yeah, I was telling them about this workshop. I was like, we had the Lost and Found Money workshop coming up. And my friend, she said, oh, I really just don't want to know. I don't want to dig in. Like, I'm afraid of what I'm going to find out if I take a look at like really where all the money is going. Okay. I'm afraid. Do you ever feel like that? And a lot of people feel like this with their clutter, right? They're like, I don't want to know what's in that box. I don't want to know what's in that closet. I don't really know what's under that pile of stuff in the basement. Or maybe you kind of think you have an idea of what's there and you don't like that idea. So you're not going anywhere near it. You're like, I'm not going to look at it. When I walk by, I'm going to turn my head the other way. I do not, ignorance is bliss. Have you ever been there? I know I have been there for sure with my clutter and also with my money. But what I want to tell you is, first of all, things like this, right? Like like ignoring whatever it is, if you're like, I know I'm kind of spending a lot on groceries or on my craft hobby. I know that it's probably bad and I just don't even want to think about it, right? So ignorance is bliss. Or maybe you're doing the same thing with your clutter. I know this closet is bad. I just don't want to think about it. What I want to tell you, first of all, it's usually not as bad as we think. It's like the monster in the closet or the monster under the bed. If you have a little kid, a little grandkid, or if you were a little kid and you were scared of the monster under the bed, that monster always feels way worse than it actually is, right? And we're afraid of the monster, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna find me, like what I'm gonna find out when I take a look, under the bed or in the closet or, at the money is so awful, I can't even bear to think about it. Well, what really happens is when we actually open that box or we take a look at that money, frequently it's not as bad as we thought. And we're like, oh, how about that? Like, this is actually not, yeah, maybe I don't like what I find, but it's really not as bad as I anticipated. We make things really big in our heads, right? And the more we think about them and the more we try to hide from them, the bigger and the worse and the more awful that they get. Such a crazy thing how our brains will just inflate things way out of proportion. So, and the flip side is maybe it is as bad as you thought. Maybe it's worse. Okay, let's go there. Maybe you think, oh yeah, I'm kind of spending a lot. And then you take a look and you realize, oh my gosh, I had no idea. This is way worse than I thought. Okay, but now you know. All right, either way, either it's better than you thought or it's worse than you thought, but now you know the truth and you know the facts. And now you can do something about it. When you don't know the facts and when you're just dealing with maybe and your brain is making things all big and horrible and scary, you can't do anything about it, right? Because you don't know. So you're completely powerless when you have no facts. So it is always better, even if it's uncomfortable, it is always better to have information. Always. Right? And you don't have to do anything with that information. Getting the information is one task. It's one decision to say, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to open the box. I'm going to go in the basement and see what I've got. That's one decision. It is a completely separate decision to decide I'm going to do something about it. Right? And you do not have to do anything about anything if you don't want to, but at least you'll know. Right? And what I want to say to you is that so often when we do discover things that are much worse than we anticipated, what is the first thing we say? We always say, oh my gosh, I wish I had known sooner. If only I had known when it was not so bad, I could have done something about it. And now it's, it's even bigger problem. So we always want to know. Right? So if you find yourself in this place where you're like, ignorance is bliss, I really don't want to think about it. I just want to reassure you with that because ignorance is not bliss. It is not. And when you have information, now you have power and then you can make informed decisions. So it's really, really important that we remember this. Now your brain isn't going to want to do this. Your brain is going to be like, ignorance is bliss. Let's stay where it's safe. For goodness sake, do not open that closet. For goodness sake, do not look at the credit card statement. Just pay the minimum and everyone will be fine. But that's not true, right? That's just your primitive brain trying to keep you safe. So just remember that next time, okay? Ignorance is not bliss. All right, I'm just going to catch up with your comments here. Oh, so good to have you guys here. Yeah, this reduces the stress. Just get the info, 100%. Linda says, I would rather exercise than deal with clutter. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's not a bad idea, but at the same time, you feel so much better when you have handled it, okay? So here's the idea for this workshop. And again, when you order the workshop, when you sign up for the workshop, you get a workbook. So this is a 24-page workbook. And we are going to work through this on this call. The way that this call is set up is it's a working call. And so you're going to come to the call. Hopefully you'll have the workbook printed out, or maybe you just have a notebook and you're going to be taking notes. But we're going to work through the process that I'm going to teach you on that call. Right? So it's going to be a little bit. There's going to be some teaching. We're going to talk about mindset, right? And I just gave you a little hint of how you can change your mindset to deciding instead of being in the dark. We want to have information so that we can do something, right? And then we want to decide what we want to do. So we're going to have some teaching on that. And then we're going to get into the nitty gritty, right? Because here's my thought, okay? And this is so important, all right? So pay attention, listen up. If you have clutter in your life, if you have a room that you really can't use, if you have messy closets, if the kitchen is just like yuck or it's just too awful to deal with, or any of those things, if you have clutter in your life, and probably even if you don't have a whole lot of clutter, I have found that most people they're not paying attention in the way that I do towards where they are spending their money, right? And it doesn't mean that you're bad with money. I'm not saying that. A lot of people are they're very frugal with their money, or they don't make silly decisions. So this is not about like just making stupid decisions. You can make really good decisions and still not be intentional with how your money is being spent. And the result of that is that you are just losing money and you don't even notice it. Okay, I imagine it as like you walking through your house, like throughout your day, wherever you are, you're just walking along and there's like money. It's like dribbling out of your pockets. It's like change falling on the floor. It's dollar bills are flying behind you in the wind as you're driving. Let's say you're driving down the street and the money is flying out the window. Okay, this is the visual I have, right? And I see this happening just because people aren't taking a look every now and then, right? You have to actively be taking a look at where the money is going and then making decisions in the way that I'm going to show you. Okay, and if you're not doing this over time, the money just kind of like leaks out. We call them money leaks. And again, it's not because you're making bad decisions or anything like that, but it just happens over time if we're not paying attention. So this actually sounds terrible when you think about it at first. You're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, this is like, what are you telling me? Like, the money is just flowing out of my bank account, and I am telling you that, but it's actually not horrible. It's really good news, and here's why. Okay, it is good news because once you notice this, it is so easy to fix it. It's ridiculously easy to fix some of these money leaks. It's so crazy, but it takes practically no time at all. And you can plug those leaks, right? And find this money. And this is your money, okay? I'm not talking about going out and getting another job. I'm not talking about selling stuff. I mean, that's all well and good. And if you want to do that, I love it. I'm all in. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about keeping more of the money that you have earned. This is your money. And so we don't want to lose it. We want to keep as much of it as possible, right? Because we want to know where our money is going. We want to spend it on purpose, right? And I'm not saying we never spend money either. This is not about nickel and diming your way through life. That is not the purpose of life. We just want to know. Okay, so when we plug these money leaks, sometimes we can either stop them, right? So like next month, the money won't be going out in the same quantity, or sometimes we can even recoup money that we have already spent, right? This happened to me literally today. It was so crazy. I got an email from a credit card company, and I'll just share this with you. They had charged me an annual fee, and I don't even use that credit card. And I was like, oh crap, I should have canceled that credit card. Right? And it just kind of like, it was on my to-do list and it slipped my mind, so I missed it. And I was actually going to call them up and ask them, hey, would you all be willing to refund this annual fee? Because sometimes you can do that. $95 for one phone call, right? But I hadn't gotten around to doing. Well, the credit card company actually emailed me. They must have had a lot of complaints, and apparently they were supposed to notify us before the fee was charged, and they didn't email us and notify us. So they sent out a mass email and they said, you can just request a refund of that fee if you want. And you can, so I did that, $95, amazing, right? So sometimes you can get back money that has already left your possession, my bank account, with, just a simple phone call, right? So it's so simple. So that was $95. So the cost of this workshop, and we'll get into this a little bit more, the cost of the workshop is $147, okay? And again, the idea here is you come to the workshop, you do the work, you spend a couple hours, and within 7 days, you can have recouped that cost, right? So within 7 days, you'll have found and I mean, I can't do the work for you, but I think it's pretty straightforward for you to have earned back $147 of your own money. And so I just did it, right? And it took me a 5-minute phone call. And I got the 95, right? Now, there is another wrinkle in how this works, okay? So if you are a member of our membership, you get this call for free, okay? We got you, right? This is included with your membership. So you don't have to register, you don't have to sign up or anything. You can just go, I'm gonna be posting the workbook. And again, workbooks looks like this, 24 pages. I'm going to be posting this in the membership group. I'm going to try to do that later today. So you can go and download it and get ready for the call and just come and attend the call on Thursday, August 25th. So if you're already a member, we've got you covered. If you're not a member, you have 2 options, okay? You can either pay the $147 and attend the workshop, right? No problem. You're good to go. You've got all the information you need. You attend the workshop and then you use this process, the lost and found money process. You just use it for the rest of your life and you probably save, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm not exaggerating. Don't discount how simple this can be, right? Just because we're talking about money and just because I'm talking about big numbers does not mean it's not simple, okay? You just have to do the work. Right, so that's one option, is to just pay the $147 and attend the workshop. However, if you have problems with clutter and if you think I could use some help with my clutter, right? Like I might like to hear what's going on with all the, Sarah's talking about the membership all the time. We do have an option where you can join the membership and then you get all the benefits of membership and also including this call. And membership is $97 a month, okay? So it's actually cheaper. So come try us out, see how it goes. If you like it, then you can stick around. If you don't like it, you can leave and it's totally fine. All right, but that's how that's gonna work. And like I said, we really, really wanna be intentional and we want to find the money that is ours to begin with, right? Like why would we want to give away money that we didn't want to spend? This is the whole point. This is not rocket science. You don't have to, you don't have to get all fancy at selling things, or you don't have to go ask your boss for a raise. You don't have to wait for the government to give Social Security an increase in the cost of living, whatever it is, calculation, right? This is just about finding your money that is probably leaking out of your pockets, out of your purse, out of your bank account, and we don't even know it. All right, so ignorance is not bliss. Knowledge is power. And I want you to have all the power. When you have power, I'm telling you, your anxiety level will go down. I promise you. If nothing else, you're going to feel better because you're going to feel in control. It's when we feel out of control, that's when we freak out, right? That's when it's scary. That's when we were like, oh my God, I'm a victim here. Like you are when you're out of control. You are not in power and you are basically a victim of your circumstances. And so we want to put you in the place where you are in control, where you do have power and where you get to make choices, right? And then you can decide if you want to change something, if you like what you see, if you want to deal with that basement, if you want to deal with that expense on your, on your credit card statement or not, right? Maybe you're like, that's not worth my time. It's all good. Right? I'm all in if you decide that. Right? I just want you to make that decision on purpose. And I promise you, you will feel so good when you are in control. Every time I feel anxiety, and this happens to me a lot, I realize what am I thinking that's making me feel stressed out here? What am I thinking that's making me feel anxious? And it is always a thought that has me not in control. Right? And so I just noticed that. I'm like, oh, that's right. I was telling myself that whatever, right? But that's actually not true. And I have choices here. I have options. And I get to decide what I'm going to do with this information. I immediately feel better. This is instant. Okay? You don't even have to do the work. You just have to remind yourself of the truth that you have options, that you have choices, and now what? Right? Now what do we do with this knowledge, right? And that's what we do inside our membership all day, every day. We have a coaching call later on today. I'm so excited for that. And that's what we're going to be doing inside this workshop. So I hope you will join me for the Lost and Fun Money Workshop. It's going to be so much fun. But more importantly, even more than fun, is we're going to go find some money. It's going to be your money and you're going to find it. And that is going to be amazing. All right, so I hope you can make it. If you can't make it live, you can still sign up. There will be a replay. We will send you an email with the replay. And that will be yours for lifetime access. All right, I'm just going to check in and see if we have any questions here real quick. Will there be a replay? Yes, there will be a replay, Connie, absolutely. Julianne says scheduling time. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. All right, Kate says, for instance, I don't know what TV services I've signed up for. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a perfect example, Kate, 100%. Kay says, I'm taken over by clutter from taking care of husband 24/7. Yeah, that's super common, right? Like if you are a caregiver, very, very challenging, 100%. We have a lot of people in that situation inside the membership, and they're figuring out ways to support themselves in that role as caregiver and also to deal with the clutter, right? Because the more clutter that you can let go of and that you can get rid of, the easier everything else will be. Right? And you need to find support for yourself as well, 100%. All right, so that's what I have for you today, everyone. So good to be here with you. As you can see, my office is a little bit empty right now. I am in the midst of putting everything back. I just redid the floor. We had the room painted. It's a little echoey, but it is going to look amazing when I'm done. I got to figure out how to hang things on the walls. It's going to be a little scary, but I can do this. We can do hard things. So next time I'm on video, hopefully we'll have a lovely background for you. All right, that's what I have for you. Come and join us with the Lost and Fun Money Workshop. Love to see you there, and I will see you all soon. All right, take care, everyone.